Hello class, my name is Travis Snap and I'm going to be going over our flight scenario for Aviation 326. So I'm going to be going on a night cross-country flight for this discussion. I'm going from Denton to Ardmore, across state lines, just over 60 miles in a Cessna 152 with this six-pack, so not a glass cockpit. All right, I'm going to go over the route quickly. So 67 nautical miles as the crow flies. I can do an initial climb to 3,500 because as you can see, the Bravo here starts at 4,000 as I leave Denton. So until I'm clear of that, then I'm going to climb to 5,500. I'm going from a class Delta to a class Delta, and I'm going to be using flight following. So if I do get a Bravo clearance, I'll go ahead and accept that and climb to 5.5 earlier. All right. I will be the pilot. I'm a private pilot with an instrument rating. I will fly this VFR. And I am a commercial student, just shy of 200 hours. I'm going to use my I'm safe checklist in this instance to go through if I'm safe to fly and make sure I'm also current as I am. One big concern here is fatigue. It is going to be at night. If this flight is happening later than I normally go to bed, then that's really going to throw off my circadian rhythm, and it's really just something that I'm going to have to take into account and consider and maybe adjust my schedule the day or two prior. All right, for the aircraft, I'm going to make sure it's airworthy using my Aero PC acronym, making sure it has all of its inspections, all the documents and paperwork it needs. And then secondly, I'm going to need to make sure that we're in compliance with 91205 for night VFR flight. So this is going to include the 8 Tomato Flames acronym, but also include the FLAPS acronym. A little out of order here from the acronym, so I'll just read it off the FAR, but position lights, anti-collision lights. If it's for hire, you need a landing light, an electrical source, and fuses. And again, that's 91205 subparagraph C. All right, and for our environment, I'm going to do pre-flight actions to mitigate the environment using the NW Craft acronym. I'm going to look at NOTAMs. I'm going to be super concerned about NOTAMs because a lot of time it's the lights that are in NOTAMs, like runway position lights, PAPI, VASIs, taxiway edge markings, things like that are often NOTAMed out because light bulbs burn out and require maintenance. The next thing is my biggest concern is going to be weather. And at night, everything's a little bit more dangerous, and inadvertent flight into IMC is a little bit easier because you can't see the clouds coming. And then the rest of these items I will calculate as normal, except for the fuel required, which I'll talk about right now. For night VFR, it's a 45-minute requirement as opposed to the 30-minute requirement of fuel saved at cruise power as opposed to VFR during the day. And so I'm looking at probably about 6 gallons per hour on this flight maximum. So I'm gonna look somewhere towards having 5 gallons reserve at minimum. All right, and then a couple things, external pressure. One, I'm gonna be wanting to get home, get to bed, see my family before, and that might just cause me to rush a little bit. In the same note there, there's going to be a dispatcher waiting on me to get the airplane back, and so I'm going to have him in the back of my mind and might be rushing just a little bit to try to get the airplane back. So I've got to be aware of that and fight that instinct to get the airplane back and take my time and do what I need for the safety of flight. All right, and then lastly, I'm just going to talk about some night considerations, some things I'm going to be thinking about that I don't think about during the day. So one is night vision. I'm going to want to stay at a lower altitude so I have plenty of oxygen to feed my eyeballs. You get up over 10,000 feet and your eyes can start to degrade in usefulness. So I'm going to be at 5.5. I'll have plenty of oxygen to feed my eyeballs. I'll avoid white lights. I'll use a red light for everything inside of the cockpit to try to keep my vision. And off-centered viewing. This is straight from the PHAC. So off-centered viewing is used to focus on the objects with rods rather than the fovea blind spot, which is surrounded by the cones. So I'm going to use a similar scan pattern, but just try to use my rods a little bit more than my cones by not specifically focusing on what I'm trying to look at. And then as I'm in cruise and landing, just false horizons, black holes, and featureless terrain are all illusions that can cause a dangerous situation. If I do have an engine out scenario, I'm going to be tracking a highway, I-35, the whole way up to Ardmore. And I'll either land on that, or if I'm in gliding distance of an airport, I will choose that as my option if I have an engine out. And lastly, personal minimums. So my personal minimums, I'm just going to increase those as it's night and things are all just a little bit more dangerous at night because you can't see. So weather minimums, my personal minimums based on how I'm feeling, I'm going to increase all of those so I can guarantee a safe flight. All right, and here are my two references, just CFR 14 CFR Part 91 and the PHAC. So looking forward to y'all's videos and seeing y'all in the discussion.